November 13th, 2017, we'll do another video. Why have I revealed the entire world how to get rid of all political corruption, crime, all crime networks? For the simple reason, that's who I am. GodSendKeith at gmail.com truly describes it. It's one of my last emails. It's actually 8 different websites that end with Keith. Why? It's not me with the vanity and the pride and the ego. It's you. It's my entire world who refuses to acknowledge the fact that an individual person and an NGO group and a world-class organization can actually change the course of history. That happens to be you. I've been recruiting every one of 7.5 billion people the entire time by modeling as the #1 anti-crime expert in the world who works for Jesus Christ, who works for God, who works for Buddha, who works for Allah, who works for everyone in the entire world. That's always been my basis. I'm here in the God's paradise once again that I've claimed for you. Are you going to build your own home when you have almost free building material and free land? Yes, there's more than enough land. We're finally going to put the mountains back with forests. That's with solutionsafewater.com and solutionhousing.com. In fact, the only way this is going to ever happen is eVote.one, which is 4 simple bypass laws. We vote them in office, we vote them out of office with a cell phone. All decisions made by you, my people, because now we tell them what to do by electronic voting. We also pay them as highly paid consultants who are now full-scale administrators only. They never touch the money. And the URL ident.com is the world's first write once, read public open database that forever puts all the taxes, the bids, the contracts, the criminal investigations, and the laws and 7.5 billion people into one central international database. Everyone carries free cell phones on free Wi-Fi, therefore no more telecommunication giants like AT&T. Oh, AT&T. I know personally the president, Glenn Laurie. He owes me $15,000 US plus damages of around $50 million US for ICATT, spelled ISEEATT.com, which is the exact same month, October, November of 2010, when Robert Rose paid him off to not give me my contract for non-commissioned sales of 2,200 stores for what you're going to find on Phone Cradle and IC Stand that are on CreatorKeith.com. Wow, these websites, because these are God's domain. Who do you think invented or allowed the creation of the internet to be the #1 data communications source of information, which is called Superfoods Facebook, Super Google? Why am I not talking directly to Mark Zuckerberg and all the other greats in the world as the #1 intellectual of merit? The smartest people will now be our world leaders as highly paid consultants, and we'll get rid of all this herd above the noise, which is another friend named Dick Brusco in Arizona, Colorado actually. This is God's paradise that I claimed years ago, and I've shown the entire time that I work directly for God, who is our mutual creator. Whether you're an agnostic, atheist, Roman Catholic, Anglisto, and Christo, we all come together with one community of faith called christDomain.com, which is also solutionislam.com, which actually goes to solutionpeace.com and solutiongod.com. Why am I speaking so fast? Because I'm trying to pull all this together. I hate long videos. And particularly, I hate criminal networks. I hate the word politics, but now we no longer have politics. It's a full 100% scalable, open decision-based society where the people take care of everything at the local community level, better than federalism, because the problem is the dynasties come right back in regardless of whether you call it communism, socialism, democracy, or republic, or even federalism. This is the world's first and only answer to the world's #1 problem, political corruption, which happened at the dawn of mankind by the people. The survival of the fittest. Now it's survival of the smartest. It's survival of the smartest, those who control our electronic databases. But now we have all open electronic databases, including contracts, agreements, laws, bids. Everything is now in a write once, read public database that you control. The public controls the database, which means no government, no agency can ever do a secret again. And the super criminals like Robert D. Rose, #1 anti-crime terrorist, well, he's the #1 criminal terrorist, cybercrime terrorist with agilelaw.com and all his other probably 30 different underground criminal enterprises that make Matrix look like a walk in the park. Oh, a day in the park. Here we go. This is the world's park. This is your land. You must rise up and claim it and put me directly in contact with all world leaders, as I've already been protesting. No, proclaiming this entire time. Mass riots, mayhem, martial law, and shutdown of all communication networks, banking, travel, commerce will occur when the criminal ruling elite decide they're going to exterminate you, my people, wiping out half, maybe even more, of the world's population of my 7.5 billion people. Stops dead cold when we finally come back into conformity and unification. And we now use solution housing to build brand new homes all over the world, new communities. We unload the slums of the world. It will now be occupied by the criminals with open circuit TV. They had never have any way to travel anymore until they make due and restitution of their victims. Robert Rose owes me $300,000 US based upon Forsyth County judgment issued in October 2010. Oh, there's that critical date again, October 2010. He shut down the company, renamed it, and continued with the worst underground criminal enterprise in world history with OneOceanBahamas.com, AgileLaw.com, and quite a few others. But yeah, the number one problem is nobody does the job. No one does criminal investigations anymore. In fact, the criminals selectively delete with an SQL trigger on anything related to Robert D. Rose, middle initials DEE. Anyone can just Google builtByKeith, one word, builtByKeith, and you'll finally see that I am the number one countermeasure anti-crime expert in the world, the entire world. And I'm also son of humanity. That's how universal this has always been, is I work for you, my people. I work for who we know is Jesus Christ and everyone else. And we finally come into conformity of God's world. We finally, after all this time, come into reformation, unification of one new world system. Everyone takes care of their own problems and issues in business. We no longer have any crime. We no longer have drug abuse. We no longer have theft. We no longer have cybercrime. We never have terrorism. We no longer have nuclear holocaust, North Korea. And I finally have personal conversations with Duterte, Putin, Trump, actually all world leaders. And we finally eliminate, as we've said before, eliminate United Nations because we don't need it. We don't need them because they are ineffective. And we finally bring all the military under one single military, world military, which means they protect everybody and not under command or demand of a single rogue president who can order the destruction or terrorist attacks on other countries in order to steal their energy, to steal their resources, to steal their gold, like the Japanese, Hitler, and Italy tried to do World War II. We're actually in World War III right now that started in 1958. I was born August the 15th, 1958, 9 months or so after Sputnik was launched, which is the start of World War III, the number one secret Cold War of spy satellites. Think of it as the Terminator, Skynet. And now we use Revelations 4:8 of remote control drones with infrared night vision cameras and microphones and speakers to finally, after all this time, recreate God's paradise of heaven as it is here on earth. Some of the most beautiful country in the world is here and in your nation. And yet you refuse to see the tree of life, which happens to be URLident.com. I'm not making excuses or objections. You are! Every one of you uses every excuse in the world to say, oh, one person can't change the world. It's happened over and over again, called messianic messengers. That was Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus Christ, Martin Luther, Mother Teresa, all the other greats in the world, including even if you want to consider people like John F. Kennedy and others, who said, rise up! And the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, because most of you are deathly afraid of your own crimes being exposed to the rest of the world. Too late. You've been asked to surrender. Or you'll be manhunted down like the mad dogs that Robert Rose is. How many of you are in league with Robert Rose? Thousands of you, because what he does is he cybercrimes you and then he blackmails and extorts you to help you, force you to commit more crimes. And enforced ethics, yes, enforced ethics, virtue, and honesty is what this has always been about with URLident.com. I've repeated so many times. I'm tired. And I will return finally to Hong Kong to finish God's ministries, which is the world's first and most powerful evangelistic crusades to fill up stadiums of people. That's called unityurl.com, which is actually the most powerful basic language, 3 steps that I've already talked to Felix about and shared with him at Luneta Park a couple days ago, using digital technology that's off the shelf where everyone takes care of their own problems or issues, and we finally come into the unification and reform of God's world. Quite sufficient. All it requires right now is the military to come find me. Military can track me very easily with NSA, Homeland Security, CIA, anyone, particularly we put Deputy Department of Justice. Lamont Siller, I've got his personal 917 number at the USA Embassy. He committed multiple crimes against me. He's a young playboy. He was hitting on the nurses the other night at the hospital. Oh yeah, we're building about 300 new hospitals here. In fact, we're building free medical centers all over the world with Dr. Sister Eva Mamo at Lady of Peace Foundation, which is on one of the previous videos from about 5 months ago. Now we'll have everyone respond. And finally, support BidOnKeith.com. I've always earned my own way. And I will recover $1.2 million, actually $500 million US dollars, for real and punitive damages for Federal Torts Claim Act, and we'll have put people like Sally Yates into hell jail. She was stupid enough to sign an arrest warrant based upon a restraining order that had already been canceled, therefore no violation occurred. Cobb County TPO 11.1.1171.99 is just part of the world's most unbelievably true criminal conspiracy and terrorist attacks on the single man of God, known as the Son of Humanity in world history. For indeed my intellectual capacity is heavenly. Ordained and divine as an ordained Baptist deacon, and also the #1 problem thinker and problem solver in the entire world, teaching you how to do the same. Quite sufficient at 11:11.